Hi Aries, this is your general tarot reading for Aries Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of April. And the month of April means that it's your birthday if you're born in April. So Aries, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Aries who were born in April, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Aries. And for those of you who celebrated your birthday in March, I hope you were spoiled rotten. In fact, for the birthday month, I hope all of you are spoiled rotten. And I suspect that you are being spoiled rotten because the sun is just shining on you. Uranus is in there. Well, it's the last month he's actually in there. He's changing over next month. And Mercury is still retrograde in there. So your image and your appearance and everything about you is just shining. And in some way, Mercury might help you to rediscover the best parts of your appearance. You might be looking back on old photographs and saying, wow, I looked hot back then. I think I need to bring this style back. And that's exactly what you could be doing, Aries. But you know what I would really like? I would like to give you a little bit of a gift. Now, I can't give it to you through the camera like this, but I want to give you your birthstone, which is a diamond. Okay, and what is a diamond? Okay, well, a diamond is basically, before it's formed, it's just a bunch of carbon, special type of carbon that's ordinary and average, and it takes a lot of heat and it takes a lot of pressure deep, deep, deep down under the Earth's surface, so it's buried deep. And what brings it to the surface, this diamond, once it's formed under a lot of heat, under a lot of pressure, and deep, deep down, way below underground? What brings it to the surface is usually some sort of eruption, some sort of shift in the Earth's mantle that pushes it up to the surface. So the diamond, which I would like to give you as your birthday present, even if it's only a metaphor, is to remind you that everything you've been through, all the hard work you've been doing, everything we've been explaining since January, that in April you're going to begin to see the diamond coming to surface, the great reward, the great treasure for all the work you've been putting in. I know it's been tough on your career. I know it's been tough trying to define who you are, trying to really take your dreams, wishes and desires into the future and trying to put a shape to them. I know it's been quite hard to do. I know that there's been a lot of deep psychological work happening for you, a big psychic cleansing that we were talking about last month. But what it's producing underground, see, in the underworld, in the deepest, darkest part of ourselves, the little formation of something out of something very ordinary is now coming up to the surface and presenting itself as a diamond. But what we must remember with this diamond is that when it first presents itself, it's a diamond in the rough. So it needs to be polished, it needs to be cleaned, it needs to be shaped, and it needs to be shaped by somebody who has extreme expertise in cutting diamonds so that all their facets shine, so that their colour, clarity, cut and carat are all appreciated from every angle. You see where I'm going here, Aries? This month, this is the real month where you're first surfacing the diamond in the rough. Now, the energies that will come later as the year moves on will be all about handing it over to the master diamond cutter who is the energies in the sky and the harmony that you have between the energies and your inner self. And that will be the hard work required to chip and cut, which might feel painful as it's happening, but ultimately, like I said, it's to reveal the highest quality of you, the diamond, from every facet. That no matter how you turn, no matter how you're held up to the light, that you will shine that light back in such a most splendid and wonderful way. And this is April. This is where it really kicks off. All the work you've been doing, here comes the turnaround. So for your birthday, my beautiful Aries, I gift you a metaphorical, but nonetheless beautiful, I hope, diamond in the rough. I hope you treasure it and value it, because that's also the energies that we have going on here. As I look down at the chart, the 8th house, 12th house, things happening there, 2nd house, all to do with being able to separate a real diamond from a fake. And that's the big question for you. From now on, things in your career, things about yourself, things about your identity, things in general in your life, imitation isn't high quality, so it has to be removed. Some of your behavior, if it's fake, has to be removed. If you're producing something, I think we mentioned, was it February, I think, that some of you might be presenting something on the internet. Perhaps you're opening YouTube channels or doing something on social media, or doing something with technology that you're presenting. That if your presentation or the information is not quite up to standard, if it's imitation, copying somebody else's work or copying some other idea, you just won't be able to tolerate that anymore, Aries, in April. Because it's only the diamonds from now on. Because diamonds are forever. And that's really it. Diamonds are forever. And you are wanting now to create something in your life that is enduring, that lasts forever. That's all the theme. That's all the energy. Something enduring that lasts forever. The first card out, the Hermit, followed by the King of Cups. Yeah, I see that. Going deep, having deep introspection, going into the diamond mine on his own, looking for the gems, and coming back with something very rewarding, very authentic, and very fulfilling. See how it is, guys? This is the energies, this is it. Other energies, mid-April, the new moon in the first house, giving you more courage and determination to go it alone, to go with your idea and nobody else's idea. Remember, even though a diamond is made of a type of carbon, you don't want to be a carbon copy of anybody else. You have to be authentic, you have to make your own gem. And what else have we got? Sun then going into the 2nd house, joining Venus on the 20th of April. This is the moment where it begins to solidify, where the treasures that you have been creating in all aspects of your life are now going under that alchemy of being hardened and made into something solid. And I mean, a diamond is possibly one of the most solid substances we have on this earth. April 25th, Venus moves into the 3rd house. So as the month leaves, as April leaves, you'll start opening up with this wonderful communication, being able to speak about your plans, being able to have a to and fro with other people about ideas, brainstorming, being able to travel and share your ideas basically at the end of April. So something, maybe I think we said in March that you were keeping something close to your chest. Well, it seems at the end of April, it's the time to open it out and say, here it is. Here's what you've been waiting for, everybody. This is it, world. So make it good. Make it good. The very end of the month, there's a full moon on the 29th in your 8th house again. It's funny, the 8th house represents the underground. It also represents mines. So maybe at the very end of the month, you will be able to find that diamond in the mine. And why am I talking about all of this? Why am I using metaphors about diamonds and so on? Because if you've been following what's been going on since January with my videos, you know exactly the road that you're traveling. You've been brushing yourself down, you've been polishing yourself up. You haven't been accepting poor substitutes for relationships, poor substitutes for your career, poor substitutes for pretty much everything in your life. And now here comes the reward for that. The reward in the rough, nonetheless, but it's the reward. A rough diamond is still worth something, but let's continue. Let's find out the cards and find out what's going on. We have 2 cards coming out there. We have the 6 of Pentacles. We have the Chariot. I'm going to shuffle it. We've only 4 cards. Can you believe that? It's 11 minutes, only 4 cards. What I might do is, in a moment, I might actually choose your cards if you don't mind, Aries. So I'll be selecting your birthday cards. See, I get to give you some birthday cards. Okay, I'm going to start choosing the cards for you now, Aries. See, I picked a good one for the start. The Queen of Pentacles. What else? See, I just want to give you the nice birthday cards. The World. Ah, okay. This doesn't look so nice, but actually it is good. I'm going to talk about it when we look down. This is like a game show, you know. Which card is coming next? It's the 5 of Wands. La la la. Sing along to yourself there while you're waiting on these. It's the 7 of Wands. Only 2 more cards, Aries, and then we're ready. 2 more birthday cards for my birthday boys and girls. Let's see. 9 of Pentacles. And the last card, come on. Oh, okay. Now they all want to come out, of course. Where do we go? We start with this one. We've extra cards here, but I'll read them. The 5 of Pentacles. The Magician. Who invited the Magician to your birthday party? I mean, I hope he has some good tricks up his sleeve. It's funny. Taurus, it's also their birthday in Aries, and they got the Magician. I mean, is this a new fashion now for birthdays? Hire the Magician? The 8 of Pentacles. And finally, Judgment. Judgment. Yeah, makes sense. Sometimes people look at these cards like Judgment and stuff and they say, oh, that's a hard, difficult card. Yeah, well, it's only hard and difficult if you're surprised by it. But if you've been waiting for something to be judged in your favour, for something to go your way, then you'd be damn happy to see it. Okay, now I have to be very careful moving the camera down, Aries, because I'm reading the cards during a Mercury retrograde, my camera stand actually broke and it's held together with tape. So I could turn the camera down here and anything could happen, so forgive me if it does. So Mercury retrograde, let's give it a try. Here we go, Aries. Come. Oh, so far so good. So we begin the reading here with the Hermit, the one who's prepared to go it alone, to stand on his own 2 feet and go deep down into the underground where there's very little light. And anywhere where there's very little light, he's okay with that because he has his own light. I mean, that's kind of handy to go into the night with your own light, and that's really what it is, going into the night with your own light, the dark night of the soul, but yet always having something inside you that shines so that you can see your way out of it. And this is a beautiful, beautiful card for you to get as an opening card, because that's what it's saying. I think for those of you who have been following my videos, I think you're getting it. I think you are really following the pattern that's happening. It doesn't matter how much you're pushed into the dark. It doesn't matter how deep underground you have to go to dig up your true identity, your true meaning in life, your true purpose, without any other influence, because he's on his own. See, he's not being influenced by anybody. It's his truth and his truth alone. And once he makes that journey and trusts it, he really finds his own light. He realizes it's that moment where he said, why was I looking to other things, other people, other places, other situations for a type of an illumination of the soul, when really I had everything inside me? And like the diamond, when it's pushed up through the earth's core, or through the earth's surface, it comes up, and it acts as something that can glow, something that can reflect a true light, all its facets, no matter which way you look at it. Shine a light in it and it will disperse that light in so many other directions, which is what you're doing. Now, some people would say this is also, it's a Virgo card, but it's also, for me, very much representing Chiron. And Chiron in April is moving, after a long period of being in Pisces, he's moving into Aries, and he'll be there for a good few years. He's the healer. He's the one who is wounded, and because he's wounded, he can appreciate and understand what it looks like to be wounded in other people, and he can offer good counsel and good advice because he can sense, you know, he can sense their hurts. And this could also be part of a big transformation for you too, Aries, because when you do go deep, when you do dig deep and come back up to the surface with your diamond, that you're able to see people in an entirely new light. I mean, as Chiron enters Aries, a lot of people are afraid that the energy, you know, if there are people suffering in the world, because it'll affect everybody for a good few years. Some people are afraid that the Aries energy, faced with people who are suffering, will just say, get over it. Or they might offer them a quick fix. You know, but these are terrible stereotypes, awful stereotypes, because they often forget that Aries is a very deep thinker. Aries rules the conscious mind, rule the head. So when there is something very serious, somebody's suffering presented to you, somebody's deep scars or deep hurts, they won't expect that Aries will put some serious thought and consideration in how to heal that once and for all. And now, see how all the energies just join up like a jigsaw puzzle. Now that you have found the diamond in April, that you are now a beacon of hope for other people. You embody that, and you don't let yourself down by being this thing that people are fearing, which is where you'll just become a big warrior and want to destroy and burn and kick everything down that's causing suffering. In some way, that might also be very healthy, but in other ways, what they all need to really appreciate about you, Aries, is that you're a hell of a lot smarter than I think any definition of Aries ever gives you credit for. I always say this about Aries. I think the book needs to be thrown out. I really think that they need to go back and examine the Aries character, because I think there's a whole lot more to you than I think a lot of the stereotypes would define. And you're going to prove that. And look, like I said to you, beside that is the King of Cups, the one who is empathic, intuitive, and who understands like a pro, the master. He is the absolute pinnacle of what it is to have empathy, sympathy, love, compassion, and not in a clingy type of way, not in a kind of soppy, ridiculous kind of way, but in a very genuine and empowered way. Somebody who is in touch with their feelings without being over the top. Do you know what I mean? The healer can now also be intuitive and empathic. What a perfect energy, Aries. What a gorgeous energy for you in April. And here we are now with you balancing a lot of things in April and everything we've spoken about. You're going to be balancing all aspects of your life, from your finances to your partnerships to your career to pretty much everything, because you're seeing the bigger picture. You're seeing that there's a big scheme out there, and in order for you to really emerge as this free, independent person with a new life direction, one who's prepared to shine that diamond out with a sense of mastery, that you're going to be working hard to balance those elements in your life that can bring you the firm footing, because this is an earth card, the firm ground, the solid, solidifying, all the theme words for this month. The diamond is an earth, it comes from the earth. So you're balancing all that is produced, that's valuable, and solidifying it. And I'm talking spiritually here. But yeah, in terms of your finances also, you could be really addressing your finances. Maybe this new direction in your life, it's now time to start seeing the money coming in. So you'll be weighing up how that can happen. You'll be weighing up if you're putting enough worth on the things that you're about to bring out into the world. Are you offering it at a fair price? Are you undervaluing yourself, or perhaps in some way overvaluing yourself? So the scales are going to come out. And also, don't forget, the scales traditionally would measure raw materials, measure gold or silver or anything like that, to see if it had value, to see if it was imitation and fake also. You know, the scales could determine whether a lump of shiny stuff was the real deal or not. The assayer. And this is you assaying or weighing up the materials to see, in your life basically, and everything around you, to see if it's the real deal. And here we have the card of great victory, the shooting star across the sky, the chariot. That is you. I mean, that is you in the month of April. I mean, where else can I go with this? Because what he has done, see, black, white, positive, negative, yin, yang. He has brought those elements spiritually together in his life, and he is now able to drive forward and push forward with a great sense of conquering something. Like Alexander the Great, he heads off and he wants to conquer the world. He has a landscape that he wants to conquer, and this is it. Now, in some cases, this represents the star sign Cancer. Some of you could be highly motivated by a Cancer during the month, positively or negatively indeed, but they could be the ones that are helping you to find a balance in something. Maybe it's their bad behavior that makes you step back a little and say, whoa, 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 there needs to be more balance. Or maybe they will be the one who will help you shine up your new set of wheels to shoot across the sky. You know, there is always that element here, though. This card is usually represented by Aries. This is him inside there. And he warns you that while you are being the brave warrior, while you are going out there, remember that you're still the diamond in the rough. And being a diamond in the rough, you can sometimes ride roughshod over people. So if you are in your beautiful chariot, like the goddess Aries, remember that go gently, or go beautifully, go like a pro. Go like a top rally driver or a top race car driver. I mean, go like a pro, but don't roll over other people's feet, basically. Here's this wonderful card, a card that two other signs often get, Capricorn and Leo, and they have had a very tough time in the last couple of years. And this card has come out for them a few times, and rightly so, because it's the card of the hero. I mean, the hero. This is just a fantastic spread to remind you that April is going to feel exactly like that, that you've completed a karmic cycle. I want you to look here, Aries. If you're familiar with any symbolism, you might recognize this. You'll see 10 coins, when in fact, if you see the shape, you can Google it. It's a shape called the Tree of Life. And once all points are activated in this Tree of Life, you finish a big karmic cycle, and you are rewarded in the end. You see that here there's the child and the old man, the young and the old, alpha, omega, male, female, the yin, yang, positive, negative, and the two dogs looking up in admiration. And it's all about that wonderful sense that you have finally found what you've been looking for in April. You finally found your direction in life, and you can only reflect that now outwards in your journey as a hero. Beside that, see all the pentacles you're getting, the raw materials of life. And I've said this to Pisces also. People forget that really the most valuable raw materials are the ones in your spirit, your imagination, your drive, your will, your focus, your determination, the natural gifts that were handed to you that even before you entered this world. They're the real treasures. And they're really only the only treasures that you need to use as currency in many ways in this world. Everything else falls into place as long as you are the first one to identify your true value. The Queen of Wands here is exactly that. She's one who understands her true value, and not only that, but she understands the true value of other people. She's quite a soft and caring soul. And again, in April, this is the energy that you'll be embodying with Chiron moving into Aries. When people come to the Queen, she is receptive and she listens with a sense of care. And she doesn't necessarily listen to the problem, but she listens to the source of the problem. She listens to the reason why a person is having a recurring problem. So there's a deep intelligence going on there. And she is a healer. And I really wouldn't be surprised if a great many of you Aries have been considering turning your life around towards the healing arts, be it through massage or using the body in some way, or going through medicine school, going through the science of healing in some way, even psychology or counselling, something like that. I would not be surprised at all if that's a route that you want to take now, Aries, if that's part of your new life direction. The healer, you don't necessarily have to be a hands-on healer. You can be in the background discovering new ways for people to be cared for and healed. Well done, Aries, well done. And I mean, really, what do I need to say here? The world, all your cards are indicating that a large cycle is completing in April for you. This is the card where she is walking from one dimension basically into another. She is completing a journey, going through the portal and essentially coming out the other side. This card can sometimes represent behavioural patterns that seem to be on a loop, and you are finally in April coming out of that, coming out of negative loops, coming out of psychological loops, coming out of relationship patterns, and once and for all, after all the heavy work you've been doing, Aries, you finally get to walk through it as naked as nature intended. And why is she naked? I mean, it's not just that she's a great big exhibitionist, which maybe she is, who am I to judge, but she's walking through there naked because it's representing that you enter the world without any baggage. You enter the world only with the gifts that you've been given. And the great realization in April for you, Aries, is that you will return to that knowledge and wisdom that carrying false things in your life don't really serve you any purpose, that you emerge in April with the gifts that nature blessed you with. And look, beside that, you would think this is an awful card, but no, tens always represent an invitation to end a cycle. Cycles, an invitation to end the cycle. And end the cycle of pain, deep psychological pain, where you might have been hurt, betrayed, where people might have turned out to be less than decent to you, where life just seemed to keep handing you a raw deal. And you were almost crushed under that. I must admit, Aries, you were almost crushed by that. But it's hard to crush an Aries, because one of your greatest strengths is that the more somebody tries to push you down, the more determined you are to fight. And that's why, even though I've always worried about you since January, because there was so many heavy pressures going on with you, I was less inclined to worry about you, Aries, because I know that you do that. The more pressure you're put under, the more you'll fight. And in fact, the more pressure you're put under, the greater quality your diamond is when you surface. And here's the invitation in April for you to realize that this is gone and you are walking through the new door. Aries, this is powerful stuff. I mean, let me turn the camera up here if I can manage to move the camera stand without everything collapsing. This is powerful stuff, Aries. You know, this, I say this to you every time. For some reason, you will not allow me, your energy won't allow me to come on and say, oh, there's a zodiac sign in your life that's this, that, and that, and blah, 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 blah. I can't do it. I can do it with some other signs, but it seems that you will not allow me to do that, that you genuinely now only want to hear where your journey is going. So if that's what you want, my birthday babies, that's what I'm giving you. The Five of Wands, all things of any value come with a bit of a struggle. That's what these two cards represent. Here is the struggle of competition. Perhaps you've been setting yourself up in a way that you've been competing with other people unnecessarily. There's no need for you to compete with other people because what you have is not like what other people have. So there's no real competition. And if you find yourself in this thing where you're locking horns with somebody else, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy because you're different. You're not the same. You have something more unique, more specialized, and really more authentic. I'm not saying that they don't have something authentic too, but there's no point in trying to compete because what they have and what you have are different. So take your energy out of competing in that way with other people and stand up in a way that you're not holding yourself up to other people and comparing, because there's no comparison, but there isn't any. You're too unique now after what you've been going through. And beside that is, again, more wasted energy, the energy of you feeling that you're being attacked left, right and centre and that you have to hold your ground all the time. This guy holding up the baton and saying, stand back, get away, get away, get away. Waste of energy. Waste of energy. If you are competing or struggling with somebody, if you are actually, say, in a legal process, or if you are in a situation where you do actually have to defend yourself genuinely, then that's a different matter. That shows here that you do have the higher moral ground. And even though you have to fight for what you believe in, it will be you who has the advantage, okay? But for all other things, if it's something where you are comparing yourself in a type of competition, then it's a waste of energy, okay? And it's not something that you really need. You can let that go and surrender that in the month of April, Aries. Why? Because here you are standing proud on your own. Again, the new moon is in your first house on April 15th. And it is you, the energy of you saying, I just want to go this alone. I want to make money. I want to be independent. There's the issue there with 8th house stuff going on where perhaps you and a partner, maybe your lover or maybe a business partner or a sibling or whoever it is that you would consider a partner financially, that maybe you have depended on them or they have depended on you in some way financially through your assets. Maybe some of the battles that you've been having is over an asset between you and a family member, or over money that's due to you from a family member or an ex or something like that. But in April, there's the moment that you want to get away from that you're saying, I don't want to depend on anybody anymore. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. And April is the first moment where you get to see tangible evidence that you can do it, that you don't have to depend on other people. You can still ask other people to enter into investments with you or whatever it is and have this conversation about shared resources at the end of the month and look deeply at your finances, look deeply at your assets with somebody else. But ultimately, you'll be able to do it with a better sense, because you'll feel that you're not depending on them, or you're not depending on some outside source for your money or other person for your money, that you are in control now. And look, beside that, the Ace of Pentacles. So pretty much sums it up. The universe has decided to open up and give you the diamond, to give you the coin, to give you the new beginning, new life, new beginning, new life, perhaps even the birth of a child for some of you, perhaps even an announcement of a marriage, an announcement of a new home, an announcement of some great shift in your life. I do hope it's in your career, because that's really where I would ultimately like to see you being very independent and very happy. But either way, the universe has decided that you get rewarded for all the work you've been putting into. Well done, Aries, well done. Last few cards, we're going to read these quickly here. In April, if you have been feeling very left out in the cold, if you've been suffering financial losses, know that the energy will pass. It's not for good. If you are taking a risk financially in April, before I would do it, I would get very, very good advice, because the energies in April are more about sound judgments rather than flights of fancy, because I don't want you taking a flight of fancy into an investment perhaps that you're not entirely sure about, or into something, or even a relationship that you're not entirely convinced of. It's not worth it, because it's not the energy. I don't want you feeling that you've been lost, or that you've lost out on something good because of an argument or bad decisions, or not looking far enough ahead. The Magician coming to wave his magic wand for your birthday. He is basically indicating everything that we've said: new avenues, new doorways, new life direction. He's Mercury. He's a mercurial card, saying that it may actually happen quite quickly. Mercury is going direct in your first house on the 16th of April. So you might watch out. The 15th and 16th of April might be very, very good to see new opportunities and new doors opening for you. The 8, a lot of 8th house energy here. The focus is really on no imitations, only the real thing from now on. Work hard, keep your head down, and work alone. Work alone. Aries, I suspect that whatever it is you're doing, that it's going to be a business where you really work on your own, maybe your own business as a sole trader or something like that. But do it, but do it well. Use this new fabulous energy, the gift handed to you, all these wonderful gifts. Do it with a real intention of being the very, very, very best that you can be. In fact, not just the best that you can be, but the best that you can't even imagine to be. Go further, go beyond. Okay, and of course the last card, another Scorpionic card, 8th house. This is it, baby, April, where all the stuff is going to be cleaned out. All the pain, hurts and sufferings are going to be called up. Chiron going then into Aries. All those who suffer will be brought up for Aries to help heal and fix. That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if you have chosen to study something about the healing arts, healing science, something, because, excuse me, here is the energy of all things that were hurt, all sufferings being brought up to the surface in order for them to be healed. Also, judgment, if some of you are waiting, if you're waiting on justice or something to be judged, maybe some work that you're doing, maybe somebody is judging it in some way and you're waiting on a judgment, you'll get good news in April, my love. Aries, I think I'm very happy with how those birthday cards came out for you, and I hope that you liked my little gift of the metaphorical diamond, the diamond that you are. I hope you have a gorgeous April, and Aries, don't forget to shine, shine, shine bright like that diamond. So Aries, if this is the first time watching my videos, then please subscribe, like, share. Join me on Facebook, She Bear Tarot. I have Instagram and Twitter too, but I say join me on Facebook because every now and then I add extra little bits of content, and if you're interested in tarot, it might be worth coming to join the little community. And in the meantime, Aries, I love you so much, and thank you for letting me read so deeply into your energies. And I'm going to give you a big, big birthday kiss. Mwah! I love you, Aries. See you next time.